the child's spirit in the central air system. In Lanzhou, there's a giant shopping mall right in the heart of the busiest downtown district. It's massive. The luxury boutiques on the first floor glitter with wealth, while on the second and third floors, you'll find a children's play area, bright slides, merry-go-rounds, kids' laughter echoing through the building. The contrast with the expensive first floor is almost unsettling. But the mall's biggest headache isn't the crowd, it's the security job. Since opening, no guard has lasted more than 2 weeks. Some fall sick after just a few days on the Zhoubai fevers, chills that no medicine seems to cure yet. The moment they quit, they're fine. Others claim they hear strange noises on the night shift, so terrifying they'd rather lose their pay than stay another night. The rumors spread fast. This mall's security post is cursed. Nobody wanted the job. After a month of hiring ads, they only managed to recruit one young man, Li Yang. That left the entire burden of security on Mr. Yang, a 52-year-old veteran guard, along with a few others barely keeping things together. At first, Mr. Yang thought he could handle it, just be extra careful, pay attention. But then the strange events began. One weekend, in the children's playground on the third floor, 3 kids were playing. 2 little girls chased each other around the slide, giggling. Meanwhile, a boy, maybe 4 or 5 years old, sat alone on a swing, swaying gently. Suddenly, the swing lurched forward. The boy flipped off, with no warning, his forehead smashing straight into the padded mat below. But the mat didn't seem to cushion him at all. His head split open instantly, blood running down his face as his screams tore through the playroom. The mother rushed over, furious and panicked, scooping him up and running to the hospital. Later, she filed a complaint against the mall for negligence. Security pulled the footage. The boy fell, but no one pushed him. The swing's chains weren't broken. Nothing was wrong mechanically. Still, they had to pay the family's medical bills. For Mr. Yang, it was a chilling moment. Security was already short-handed. If more of these bizarre accidents happened, even Li Yang might walk away. The next morning, the pet shop on the 4th floor reported chaos. The owner stormed into the security office, shaking with rage. I locked every single cage last night. This morning, the cats and dogs were all out, poop everywhere, customers screaming. I lost my business for the day. Mr. Yang and Li Yang checked the cameras. What they saw made their skin crawl. Around 3 a.m., the tightly locked cages began opening on their own. Slowly, as if an invisible hand was twisting the locks. One by one, cats and dogs slipped out, running wild in the store. The owner swore he checked every lock 3 times before closing. No signs of forced entry, no one on camera. Nothing to explain it. But the horror peaked the next morning. When the owner opened his shop, he collapsed on the floor, screaming. Half the animals dead. Corpses of cats and dogs lay scattered around shelves and cages, while the survivors huddled in corners, trembling, eyes wide with terror. On the footage, the cages opened again. But this time, the animals weren't panicked. They acted obedient. A golden retriever rose onto its hind legs, front paws raised as if resting against someone's chest. Except there was no one there. Its head leaned into thin air, nuzzling, as if cuddling something unseen. Several kittens circled around a spot of empty space, batting their paws like they were playing with an invisible child. Then every animal lined up. Calmly, they followed the invisible presence right into a blind spot in the camera view. By morning, half were dead. Mr. Yang watched the screen, drenched in cold sweat. Now he knew the guards who quit weren't overreacting. Something supernatural was haunting this mall. That night, Mr. Yang and Li Yang split duties. Li Yang stayed in the control room, while Mr. Yang patrolled with a flashlight. On the empty 5th floor, he suddenly heard children's crying mixed with laughter. The sound led him to the central air conditioning room. Heart pounding, he pushed open the door. Instantly, the voices stopped. The room was silent, but in the corner lay a doll. He picked it up, intending to bring it back to the office. As he headed downstairs, reaching the stairwell to the 1st floor, the doll giggled. A thin, sharp child's laugh, right in his hand. Mr. Yang froze, then dropped it in terror. The doll hit the ground with a smack. He ran, faster than he thought his 50-year-old body could move. When he told Li Yang what happened, the younger man laughed it off. It's just a sound-triggered toy. You scared yourself. But when they examined it, there was no sound device. Nothing inside. The fear grew heavier. 2 nights later, Mr. Yang was patrolling again. As he turned a corner near the control room, his flashlight revealed a figure. A little girl, long hair, white dress, standing silently outside the door. "Who are you?" he shouted. She turned her head, her face pale, features blurred and then she bolted down the hall, vanishing like smoke. Yet, on the security cameras, there was nothing. The footage showed only Mr. Yang shouting at empty air. That was his last night. He quit the very next morning. Months later, Li Yang finally called him. His voice was heavy as he revealed the mall's dark secret. When the building was under construction, one of the workers was tasked with caring for his late brother's young daughter. But his wife hated the girl. One night, she fed the child a lethal dose of sleeping pills, then slit her wrist to make sure she'd die. Her plan was even more horrifying. She intended to throw the girl's body into a cement mixer, blending her into the building materials. But that night, a safety inspection stopped her. In a panic, she hid the corpse inside the central air system. The body was only found later, dried and withered, when maintenance workers fixed the faulty air unit. If not for that malfunction, the girl's tragic death might have stayed hidden forever. And so, the laughter echoing through the mall at night, the animals bowing to empty air, the doll that giggled, weren't random accidents. They were the cries of a child whose soul had been trapped in the very walls of that building. The giant creature in the snowy mountain fog. Mr. Chen used to serve as a military driver in Yecheng, southern Xinjiang. His main task was to deliver essential supplies to the border posts. This route should be familiar to everyone. It's the Xinjiang-Tibet Highway. The altitude there reaches around 14,764 feet. Now, Mr. Chen has a net worth of tens of millions. His unit received an order to transport the last batch of supplies to a border post. Anyone who has driven on mountain roads knows that the last vehicle in a convoy is often the easiest to fall behind. Mr. Chen was driving the last vehicle, and he set out together with his co-driver, Mr. He. From Yecheng to the post, they had to cross several high mountains. In the lower altitude areas, it was vast desert, with strong winds, the whole sky tinted yellow. At higher altitudes, the world turned white with snow. That day, they reached an altitude of about 11,483 feet in the mountains. The weather was getting colder, and snow began to fall. Mr. Chen tried his best to keep up with the car in front. At that moment, the weather suddenly changed, and a much stronger wind blew. Mr. Chen could see nothing at all. Continuing the drive in such conditions would be equivalent to courting death. He quickly looked for a sheltered mountain hollow and stopped the car. He didn't know how long he waited, but eventually the wind gradually subsided. The road was almost entirely covered in snow. Mr. Chen got out of the car, intending to shovel the snow first before moving. Just as he was about to start, Mr. Chen felt he couldn't delay any longer. At that moment, he thought he saw a shadow standing in the snow ahead. His first thought was, is Mr. He out for a bathroom break? He rubbed his eyes and walked toward the shadow in the thick fog. When he was about 20 to 25 feet away from the shadow, he realized something was wrong. The shadow was extraordinarily tall, over 6.5 feet, with long arms hanging down by its sides. Where in the depths of the Kunlun Mountains would there be a gorilla? The shadow seemed to notice Mr. Chen and suddenly turned around. Mr. Chen heard a low, rumbling growl. What kind of creature is this? The thing was massive but surprisingly agile, covering the distance to Mr. Chen in a few steps. Terrified, Mr. Chen ran back to the car. Just as he reached for the door, he found that the car wouldn't start. Starting the car required a warming-up process. Mr. Chen was sweating profusely. At that moment, he saw in the side mirror that the creature had already reached the car. It stood on the step beside the driver's door. Mr. Chen hurriedly locked the door from the inside. The creature didn't seem to give up. It suddenly rammed its head against the window. As the glass cracked, Mr. Chen saw a face he would never forget in his life. A human face, living and real, was stuck onto the creature's face. Perhaps the human face was too small, or the creature's face too large. The scene was as bizarre as it could be. At this moment, Mr. He remained relatively calm. He took an iron shovel from the toolbox and handed it to Mr. Chen. Mr. Chen mustered all his strength and swung the shovel at the creature. The creature fell to the ground, off the car. This time, the car started. Still shaken, the two looked carefully in the rearview mirror. Seeing that the creature did not follow, they finally breathed a sigh of relief. Before nightfall, they found the convoy. This incident spread widely among the drivers' unit in Zhejiang. Everyone said that Mr. Chen and Mr. He had encountered a monster wearing a human face mask. As for where the monster came from, or who wore the human face mask, no one knows. Mr. Chen retired and returned to the inland not long after. Mr. He, however, had a car accident during a mountain mission the following year. He fell into a valley with the car and still often dreams of that terrifying human face.